Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about what if I was in My Hero Academia. So, in the last episode I told you guys about how I came to the My Hero Academia verse. The reason how I got there is because of a certain fallen angel by the name of Icor. He wanted to destroy, well, heaven and earth, but also hell as well, because he's also pretty angry about hell as well. So, after gaining the help of a demon and also a man named Dallas, which he was a great criminal back in the day, he tries to heist a clone of Jack, aka me, also known as the main protagonist of this series. So, after failing, after getting killed by a artificial persona user officer, well, let's just say I was adopted into the Bakugo or Katsuki family. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, we're going to be starting off this episode in the actual orphanage when I'm starting to become, starting to be adopted by, um, like Mitsuki Katsuki or, um, Katsuki Mitsuki or something like that. I don't know what to call her. Actually, let's just call her like Mitsuki. So after Mitsuki picks a name for, well, me, which she decides to call me, well, this. And so like Mitsuki decided to call me Hajime Katsuki. And so after arriving at my brand new home, I met my brother, my little brother. Like they're like one like minute like maybe like 1 minute like older than me. Like um Katsuki is like 1 minute younger than me, and so I'm technically the bigger brother. And so Bakugo just calls me Big Brother most of the time. And because of this, we became pretty much like brothers instantly. Both Mitsuki and Bakugo's father, which I don't really like. I don't really remember about his name. Like I don't really care about his name all that much. So, so after like a few years, like staying in that home, I gained emotions. And after learning about heroes, I want to become a hero not because of the money like Bakugo, but instead I want to become a hero so I can, you know, become a great person. Like leave my mark on the world, not like fame or something like that. It's more like he wants to like save people, similar to Izuku. So, after a while, I meet or Hajime, because I'm just gonna call him Hajime in this series now from now on. So, Hajime meets, well, Izumi, which is Izuku. So, in this world, Izuku is a girl in this one. And after meeting Izumi, well, let's just say Izumi was ecstatic to finally meet me, or Hajime, because she heard a lot of stories from Mitsuki. And after Inko sees me, she thought it was weird that, you know, wait for a second, Mitsuki to adopt another child, because, after all, her child over there being Bakugo was, a bit temperamental. And so, after a while of talking, me and, well, Izumi have been, become quick friends at that point. But Bakugo doesn't like it and decides to bully Izuku because, typical kid stuff, I guess. So, after a few years have gone by, he's now 5, where Izuku is going to be finally going to the quirk doctor, where Izuku was diagnosed, not not Izuku, I meant Hajime was diagnosed as quirkless. Well, let's just say Hajime was kind of sad But Bakugo, after getting his quirk being explosion, he tries to comfort me. Like, he tries to comfort me instead of, like, bullying me. Because he sees me as a great person, but the others he just considers as extras, including Izuku. Because when he sees that Izuku is actually quirkless, he doubles down on the bullying. So, after we get back to, like, to kindergarten, and after telling everybody that I'm quirkless, or Hajime is quirkless, everybody wanted to laugh, but Bakugo was literally creating explosions, so like nobody would laugh, including the teachers, because they know that Bakugo's like really like loyal to his brother, being, well, Hajime. And during in class, let's just say something happens. So this thing happens. A villain arrives, specifically two villains, grabbing both Bakugo and another girl. This girl has purple hair and has ear jacks, as like earlobes, as they say this to all of us. Alright, if you won't let us, give us a car already. As one of them said this, being a teacher. A car? What are you gonna do? As he says this, if you don't give us a car, we're gonna be killing these mother. As when, well, Hajime sees this, he was terrified, because those are villains. As several policemen arrive, as the burglars come outside, saying that if they don't get a car or getaway driver, they would kill these children, being Izuku's brother and this random girl. Well, Hajime doesn't know what to think. He doesn't know what to do until he hears a voice. Ah, hello, child. Is this situation frustrating, horrible, terrifying, or you're just angry? As Hajime says this, who is telling me this? As he says this voice. Wait for a second. Hajime hears the voice says this. Listen to me, child. Do you have the resolve to save your brother and that girl? As Hajime says this. I don't know, but I will try. After all, I want to become a hero, but I'm quirkless. As he says this. Very well. If you make a contract with me, I will gladly give you my power. The power of a persona. As he says this. A per what? As he says this. Listen to me, child. If you want to become a hero, you need power. And I will give you that power. So, will you accept? Or would you prefer to just let them die? As Hajime says this. I will save them. As this voice says this. Very well. Now, let us form our contract. As Hajime feels an immense pain in his head, as everybody sees, including the burglar see, his eyes glowing golden, as he starts spazzing out, feeling like his entire body was tearing apart. As the voice says this. I am thou, and thou art I. From the sea of thy soul, I come for thee. I am Adonius, king of the underworld. As his face burns, as a mask appears, resembling a Roman helmet, as he rips it off, as blood drips from his head to his face, as everybody sees this kid suffering, as you see the blood dripping from his face. Well, let's just say the media, specifically some wait for a second. The cameramen see that Izuku, or not really Izuku, not Izuku, I meant Hajime summoned his persona. And by the way, this is not technically a quirk, it's actually a actual persona. Because, After getting his emotions, or getting his brand new emotions, he finally gotten his persona. And so he gains his persona, being Adonius, god of the underworld, or king of the underworld. As it appears, it resembles a man with two faces, one that's golden and the other completely charred, like something burned all over his face. It seems to be burning, seems to be breathing fire on that side. And his body resembles a furnace, and in the stomach, it resembles well, a flaming cottage, or like, what do you call it? A fireplace. As he wields a gigantic ass staff with large horns, his body burns, being Hajime's, as the flames dissipate, being blue, as he transforms, gaining a costume resembling a cowboy somewhat, as his tail shows. I didn't really mention it at like last video. Uh well, Hajime actually has a tail resembling a Wendigo's tail or a deer tail, because in most depictions Wendigos resemble like half zombie-ish creatures mixed with a deer. And so in this case, Hajime has a deer tail instead of like a demon tail like for Jack. So, after gaining this power, he says this: "Let's take him down. Adonius! Bring my brother back, including that girl!" As, well, wait for a second. As Adonius grabs both the girl and well, and Bakugo, as Izuku says this: "Burn them away!" As purple fire appears right in front of the burglars, as they step back, saying, "What the hell are you, kid?" As he starts bringing out his gun, while the other starts using, his quirk, being a hardening quirk. As he charges forward at Hajime, Hajime brings out two axes from his hands, almost like they appeared, as he just slashes at him, as these axes actually cause damage to his skin, as he says this: "What? I thought my hardening quirk... Ah, what the hell, kid? What type of quirk do you have?" As he says this: "Take this. Adonius, shoot him down." As Adonius pulls up his arms and puts his chest out, as flames appear coming out of his, well, belly, where the furnace is, as it shoots out a blast of fire, which kind of hurts the villain. The villains, or the criminals, get captured by the heroes. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, after, well, the criminals were, well, brought to to the authorities, everybody congratulated everybody. One hero said that Izuku was a true hero, but he felt angry at himself because he couldn't save the actual hostages, being, well, Bakugo and that girl. As he says this this kid, as he points at the cameraman to like face it to him, as he says this is a true hero. I want all of you to know that. As Hajime felt happy, as his costume dissipates, transforming back into his regular old school uniform. So, after that day, everybody started crowding around Hajime, saying, "What was that quirk?" As he say, I thought we were like quirkless." As Hajime says this, "I don't know. I just felt like something came out or something." As Bakugo comes up to him, as he says this: "Brother, brother Hajime, big bro, that was amazing. I can't believe you actually saved me. I mean, my quirk is probably better than yours, but still, you saved me." As he says this: "Thank you, brother." As for Izuku, well, or Izumi in this case, Izumi is still pretty much depressed because she doesn't have a quirk, and after hearing that Izuku, well, had no quirk, she tries to like cheer him up because they're both quirkless. But after Hajime showed off his quote unquote quirk, let's just say she's really depressed. Like she's completely angry. Not really angry, more like, why did Hajime had to have a quirk? And so after that day, they started leaving. As that girl with the earlobes Hajime saved comes up to him, as she says this, um, hello. As Hajime says this, oh, hello. As she says this, thank you for saving me. As her father arrives, as he says this, oh my little girl, I thought you were hurt. As the girl's mother says this, yeah, so you're the kid that saved my daughter. Thank you. As Hajime says this, oh, it's no problem, but I was afraid at that time. I must have overdone it. As the girl's father says this, nonsense. Besides, you know what that hero said? You were a true hero. You saved my daughter. I am eternally grateful for that. Thank you, kid. As Hajime says this, thank you. As the girl says this, can I ask you for your name? I didn't really, know you all that much. As he says this, just call me Hajime Katsuki. What's yours? As she says this, just call me Kyoko Jiro. As not Izuku, I meant Hajime says this. Nice to meet you, Jiro. Or should I just call you Kyoko-chan? As she says this, just Jiro. As both of their parents, both both of the both Jiro's parents just say, future husband. They would just say that. Just saying, I think we found our daughter's future husband. So, after that day, they started leaving, including Hajime with his brother, Katsuki, or Bakugo. After they left, well, it's been a pretty, uneventful year. Izuku was being confessed by many girls, but prefers to just be alone most of the time. Because, well, he was in a gang. Yeah, he's actually a delinquent. I mean, kind of like a delinquent. I mean, he's still pretty smart, and also quite, like, like, he would always attend school, but he's kind of a delinquent, kind of, because he kind of, goes with, different types of, schools and sometimes fights with other people, so he can train his, well, quote-unquote, quirk, because, in the actual truth, it's actually a persona. So, after a while of after a few years of fighting different students from different schools or different delinquents from different schools, he's been called a merciless fireborn killer, which is completely understated. Because in actuality, he's actually a pretty nice person. The reason why he does that is because he wants to keep them in check. Because they would all Hajime would always see them bullying different kids from different schools, and including in his school, so he has to knock them down a peg. So during 5th grade, after hearing that Izumi committed suicide because of Bakugo's bullying, let's just say the relationship has strained ever since that happened, because at the time, well, after sorry about that. It was just a Discord server that I joined. Anyway, so after a few years during 5th grade, Izumi started becoming cuter to him, and he sort of gotten a crush on her. But after he heard that Izumi was, committed suicide, let's just say he was pissed after hearing that Bakugo made her, and Baku tries to defend it, but Hajime didn't want to hear it, and so just stopped talking to him. Baku felt regret, and tries to justify his his nature, but Hajime doesn't have it. And so after that little incident, let's just say Hajime has been a little bit more meaner. Let's just say that. After like several kids have been bullied by Bakugo's goons and Bakugo himself, so he would always have to go there. But Bakugo doesn't want to fight his brother, mostly because, he's his brother, and doesn't and just tells his goons to don't fight him because he prefers if they don't want to get hurt or something like that. And so they just left him alone. And Hajime always likes helping other people that are weaker than him, and so just helps them out in case bullying or something like that. So after that death, he's also been going to Kyoko's house or Jiro's house, so they can talk about some stuff, even listening to some music that she made. So let's just say wait for a second, that Hajime, after the death of Izumi, he kind of gotten a crush on her as well, but he doesn't realize it yet. So he also doesn't want to become a hero anymore ever since that incident, because he felt weak at that point when the announcement of Izumi's death was told by him. And he doesn't want to become a hero because he thinks that he's just a monster, being the brother of that monster. And so just doesn't want to become a hero at all. But he still tries to be a good person and try and protect some people that are weaker than him and also save some people in the process. So, wait for a second, guys. So, when he was going through through school, it's finally the end of middle school, or almost the end of middle school, as the teacher arrives as he says this: Alright, 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 class. It's time for you to prepare. Because after all, you're going to be going to, to some schools, specifically high school. And I know some of you want to become heroes, but you need to first do this. As he puts all of these papers, as everybody started sighing, except for, Hajime. Hajime, unlike Bakugo, instead of being temperamental, he's more calm and collected. But he throws all of the papers, which everybody started, getting excited as Bakugo goes up, rises up from his chair and just steps on it, or stands on this desk, and says this: "Ha! I'm gonna become the number one hero for my brother. So what do you think, Hajime?" As Hajime doesn't talk to him, as he says this: Ugh. "Anyway, I'm going to become the number one hero. After all, I'm going to be going to UA. But all of you busted D-listers don't go there, because after all, you're just all weaker than me." As everybody started getting angry at Bakugo for saying that, as, Hajime just summons out his persona being Adonius and tells them to just shut the hell up. And also tells Bakugo to shut the hell up because the teacher needs to talk, as the teacher appreciates that. Bakugo was still terrified about his, quote-unquote quirk, and just wondering why he can't become a hero just because of a little incident being, Izumi's, suicide. Because he doesn't know that Hajime had a crush on Izumi at the time. So he was kind of oblivious at that point. And so after the teacher tells everybody on who's going to UA being just Bakugo instead of Izumi and Bakugo, or Hajime and Bakugo. And so after they leave, his goons start crowding around Bakugo and kind of Izuku. They don't want to fight him, and they're also quite terrified of him, just because if they see Hajime sees them bullying a kid weaker than them, let's just say he's going to throw some hands at that point. So after going through a little area, so they can go home. They go into that overpass, but the sludge villain doesn't attack, but instead they leave without a scratch. So after Hajime goes to his room, Hajime goes to his little desk where he has some notes back when Izumi was still alive. Izumi was everything to him. Let's just say he kind of fell in love. I mean, I already told you that, but he felt like he had only one love. But after she died, well, let's just say he's been kind of a wreck, but still keeps her journals about becoming a hero. But he just keeps them as memoirs and just reads through them occasionally. So, he decides to go outside because he meets a breath of fresh air as he starts going to the city, looking around at shops and little like stalls and things like that. When he sees a battle between the brand new hero known as Mount Lady and a villain, a gigantification villain. As the villain gets ready to crush, Hajime with his foot because he didn't notice him, Hajime just creates his persona Adonius as everybody sees that, this kid is lifting off this man with this thing behind him. As, Hajime just says this, Adonius, him off. As Adonius just literally just yeets him through a building. As the guy says this, what did you, oh, you damn bitch? As she says this, did I do that? As she sees, Hajime just moving away as he dissipates his persona. He's not wearing his, costume at that point. Because he's able to, change into his, costume, or his Phantom Thief costume, if you want to call it that, at any time, anywhere. But he prefers not to. Unless, if he's going to foreshadowing A. Anyway, so, after he leaves that little scene, he starts going through a back alley. So he can just not really talk to, more like have a little chat with some delinquents. But he didn't see any delinquents this time, as he says this. I'm guessing they moved. So, he starts leaving as he hears a cry for help. As Hajime sees in the corner of the alleyway a few people. These few people were seeing that a girl, specifically a girl with black hair and a ponytail, was being consumed by the sludge villain. Yay! And he also sees several heroes there, including some other people, specifically, wait for a second, some people in black ties, and also some black suits, and also there seems to be a limousine with two people that, Hajime kind of recognizes. A woman that also has the same black hair, and a man with dark eyes, but also pure white hair, says this, "Try and save my daughter, you idiots!" As they say this, "We can't do that, Mr. Yayarozu. Besides, our quirks are not qualified for this situation." As Hajime hears this, as he says this, "Wait, the Yayarozus?" But he doesn't have a time to think right now. He's completely what do you call it? Distracted right now on how to save that girl. But unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the episode. Sorry. I'm going to be I'm going to be leaving this at a cliffhanger, so sorry that all of you guys want to see more parts of this. But unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the episode. And so, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!